Hi, everyone. Okay, now this is what I would say is the second video for this week. The first one, hopefully you've already watched it, is the syllabus. I went over the syllabus. If you haven't watched it yet, you should watch that first, okay? This one is I'm going to talk about ALEKS, which is the learning system that you're going to use for this course. It's your homework, essentially, and your grades are highly dependent on your homework, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up the course syllabus and show you how to deal with this, okay? The information you're gonna need is your class code, okay? So there's the class code right there. And conceivably, you may need the financial aid code, or you may have already purchased it before. You've already purchased ALEKS. Or you're ready to purchase it right now. Okay, the class code is the main thing. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to cheat here. I'm just going to come over here and copy. I'm just going to copy that. Hopefully that will work. Okay, so you want to go to aleks.com. Oops. Hopefully that will pop up directly. There we go. Okay, so here's aleks.com. So this is your learning system right here. What you're going to do is going to sign up. Okay, if you already have an account, just go to login. You can just do that directly. Okay, I'm going to put in the class code. Okay, just paste it right in there, and then I'm going to check to make sure that we got the right course. Okay, let's see. General Chemistry 2, Winter 23, W52. That's our section. That's good. That's it. Patrick Lloyd. That's the one. So we want to do that one. That's the one we want to register for. Okay. And let's say that, I've never used it before. We'll go with that. Never used it. If you have used it, you're going to do, I have a login and just use your old account. Don't create a new account. Okay. Put in your name. Put in your email. Oops. Let's do, exploding chemistry at gmail.com. Exploding chemistry at gmail.com. Need a password. Can put in a password. Now, I would actually recommend, if it's helpful for me if you do this, if you put in your CUNY First ID. Okay, that does help me. Okay. When I assign the grades at the end, it's easier for me to assign the grades if you put in your CUNY First number right there. Okay. Let's do this. Shit, I don't need that. There we go. Obviously, you got to agree. And then hit continue. Okay, and then it's going to give you a user ID. So you definitely want to have that information. So you want to write that down somewhere. And your password, of course, right? Continue. And then, you can go through the whole purchase thing and purchase it. Let's say that, well, obviously, if you have used ALEKS in the last year, you bought most likely a 1-year term. So if you bought a 1-year term, then you can just use your access code that you purchased at the beginning. Okay, that should already be in your account. If you haven't, you just got to purchase it, then you go through the purchasing process to get you a new one. If you want to use the financial aid, for a couple of weeks, up to a couple of weeks, you can't use it for much longer than that. Let me just bring up the syllabus, and then let's share this. Oops, sorry. Share screen. Okay, that's where the financial aid code's right there. See that right there? That's good for up to 2 weeks. Yeah, so I'm going to copy that one. And then Come back over here. Okay, and let's share that. To remember to share it for you so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. Paste that in there and then hit continue. Okay. So obviously it's just temporary. It only goes, for me, it would be 120 because I'm doing this on the 3rd or 2nd, I guess. Okay. Actually, that seems like more than 2 weeks, but whatever. Okay. Continue. There we go. Okay, so now we're into ALEKS, okay? And it's for the course, all right? So, there's some options here. Let's see, extend access, that's when you're gonna go buy it. More details, this gives you the information. There's the class code and your login and all that, okay? All right, good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on here and go into the course. Let's see what comes up. Going pretty slow there. There we go. It's usually a little faster than that. Okay, welcome to ALEKS. Oh, it is real slow tonight. Okay, so ALEKS is a personalized way to learn at your own pace. Figures out the topics you already know, and then helps you take the right path to success. It's based on assess, learn, assess, learn, assess, learn. Okay, and it's going to keep giving you this warning unless you've actually purchased it. Okay, here's your main menu up here. If this little bell here will have notifications, so it's a good idea to check that every once in a while, make sure there's, some kind of notification. And then over here, see this little, I don't know what to call this little tab over here. This is essentially, if you don't know what to do next, you just click on that. There's going to be a little tab over there that you can do. So you click on that just to say that, okay. Let's do an introduction to the tools. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing they're going to do is they're going to teach you, or make sure you know how to enter in information, because you have to enter in information every once in a while. So using the keyboard, type 14. So you just follow the directions there. Correct, you did it. Okay, now click on the clear button to clear the answer editor. Okay, hit the oh, I didn't mean to clear it, so I'm going to do undo. Right, so the one on the right is the undo, this is the clear. So clear, undo, and there you go. Good job. Okay. All right, now if you look up here, you're going to see there's a little progress bar up here. So that's kind of showing us how far along we are in our current task. Okay, so the next thing they're going to do is some of the problems you have to put fractions in. So here's your fraction tool here, okay? So click on the fraction tool or the fraction button, enter in 2 in the numerator, okay? Click the blue box and then type 3, right? So that's how you would enter 2/3. Great job. Select next to continue the tools tutorial. Okay, so you're going to do that. These are very basic things just so that you know how to use the interface, right? Every system has its own interface. You will be writing chemical equations. If you look at this one, there's actually something I can see that's wrong. A couple things. One, this is most likely going to be O2. This is a K on the right, but it's an MN on the left, so that's not right. Okay, so there's a couple things. So this is going to teach you how to do things. So first of all, let's balance it by putting a 3 in there. Let's make this right by making it a 2. Here's your subscript button. Subscript, superscript, subscript, superscript. So let's hit the subscript and then type a 2. Now we fix that one. And then this is wrong, right? So click the blue circle, hit delete, and then type in manganese, MN. Circle over here. Now let's balancing it. Using the keyboard, press the right arrow. There we go. Hit delete and then put in a 4. Now we got it properly balanced. Great. Move on next. Okay, so we can do balanced equations in ALEKS as well. And there will be some problems where you need to do equations. Let's see what's next. Okay, so future videos. These are different topics on drawing structures, doing rings, all that kind of stuff using erasers. I'm going to hit next here. Okay, we're getting pretty close to the end here. Now we work on the calculator. Click in the blue box. Type in a 1. Do the division, 1 divided by. Now we're going to look for a constant. Sometimes you do these calculations where you need constants, so click the A. Let's say we want to get the molar mass or the atomic mass of carbon. Okay, put it right in there, right? Now click on the X on the upper right corner to close this window. There we go. Now I'm going to click over here. We're going to multiply it by something, so times, and then we're going to do constants. And it looks like we're going to do Avogadro's number. Okay, so here's Avogadro's number. See, it put in Avogadro's number. Isn't that cool? Hit the X so you get out of that, and then hit equal. So equal, boom, there we go. 5.01 blah, blah, blah times 10 to the 22. Let's put it into proper scientific notation, which is times 10 to the 22. Okay, so there's that. That's how you use the calculator. Okay. Is that it? That's it for the tutorial, right? So you go through the tutorial, right? Obviously, you can fast forward through these. You can watch them more than once if you want to. So let's hit continue. And now we're going to do what's called the initial knowledge check, which is very important. You want to do the initial knowledge check. Okay. So again, if, remember this up here is like if there's notifications, this is your sort of home buttons. There's all kinds of access to different things there. This is the button you hit if you're getting ready to do the next thing. So start your knowledge check. I'm not going to go through this whole thing because it takes a while. You want to take about 30 to 45 minutes to do this. I'm not going to have you watch me do this for 30 to 45 minutes. So I will try to go through it very, very quickly. Notice it's giving you some advice here. Stay focused. Don't get distracted. Turn this on, do not disturb, and put it in a drawer next to you or something like that. You probably want to have pen, paper, or pencil, something like that, so you can write. And you can use the ALEKS calculator or have your own scientific calculator, one or the other. Okay. All right, let's see this. We'll do that next. All right, and actually tells you some stuff like, right, have pencil and paper and don't get help from others. Don't cheat on this part. It will create problems if you cheat on this part. Okay, take your time, do your best. Don't worry about getting these right. You're not going to get most of them right. You may not get any of them right, and that's okay. You're starting the course, you haven't done these problems before. When you do these problems, there is a calculator you can access there. There are tools and stuff you can use. Choose I don't know only if you don't know how to solve the problem. Like I said, most likely you won't know how to use the problem, how to solve the problem. So if you don't know how, don't worry about it. That's fine. So let's start the knowledge check. Question 1. Write the equilibrium constant expression for this reaction. Okay. All right, well, here it is. Now, do you know how to do that? If you know how to do that, that's impressive because we haven't covered it in the course yet. This is something we're going to do in chapter 15. Now, I'm going to actually show you how to do it, okay? It would be the concentration. So we use what's called bracket notation. So I'll put a fraction in here, and in the numerator, I'll use the bracket, and then you have to do, subscripts. So C2. H2. So H2. C2. So see, I'm using the subscript there. O4. And then close bracket, okay? So that notation means the concentration of H2C2O4, which is the product. And then we're going to divide that by the concentrations of the reactants. So bracket, remember, bracket notation means concentration in moles per liter. Okay, so H plus, so superscript. And then I'm going to close the bracket. Now there's two of the H pluses. Now we'll go over this in the lecture, but when there's a 2 as a coefficient, the equilibrium constant, you make it an exponent. And then you multiply that, we'll see if that works out, by this one. Boy, if I could copy and paste it, that would be easier. Oops. Oh, hopefully that didn't freeze. There we go. C2O subscript 4. And then we have to put that 2 negative in there. So superscript 2 negative, and then close the bracket. Oops. Let's put a 4 back in there. There we go. And let's get rid of this 4 there. Okay. So it took me a little bit of time to do that. I haven't used this interface in a while, but that's what's called the concentration of oxalic acid, H2C2O4, divided by the concentration of H plus, the hydrogen ion, squared, times the concentration of the oxalate ion, C2O4 2 negative. Okay. So the coefficient, like a 2, becomes an exponent. The coefficient here is a 1. The coefficient here is a 1. So those are just, you don't put any number there. Okay. And then you submit it. Okay. Now that took me a few minutes to do that one. But again, it's most likely you haven't done these problems. You haven't watched my videos on this stuff yet. You will. That's actually not a kinetics problem. That's an equilibrium problem that comes up in the second chapter that we're going to cover. Okay. So here's question 2. Consider the following mechanism, and then there's some stuff. So I'm just going to say, I don't know. It's going to warn you that it'll impact the results of this assessment, but that's okay. You don't know. So I'm going to put, I don't know. Okay. Again, internet's kind of slow right here. Okay. Again, here, this is a kinetics problem. I'm not going to go over that. Okay. So, like I said, I don't know. And, any question that you don't know, just hit, I don't know. It's possible. I mean, if you took this course before, that's okay. If you took the course before and you actually do know how to do some of these things, then go ahead and put it in, do your best for it, right? Because essentially what it will do is it'll give you credit for knowing how to do that problem if you get it right. It's going to every once in a while warn you. Now that one, it actually was surprised I didn't know how to do it because I had gotten that other equilibrium problem right. So it said, hey, wait a minute, are you sure you don't know how to do this? Here's one that I do know off the top of my head. So this is 4.56. But again, you may not know how to do these. Most likely you don't. Okay, it's taking a little while. Look, I think you have to do around 20 to 25 questions. I keep forgetting exactly how many. Now, normally I have a way of just Xing out of this very quickly as an instructor, but I'm not in the instructor mode, so I can't do that. So I'm just going to kind of go through these as quickly as I can. Okay, there we go. All right. So you've mastered, by putting I don't know for all those, it essentially said, oh, he doesn't know very much. Okay, so now you have what's called a pie. And the pie is broken down into essentially 5, it looks like it's 5 different, or maybe it's just 4 different things. Kinetics and equilibrium is one grouping. Acids and bases is a second. Entropy is a third. And then electrochemistry is a fourth. So those are your 4 slices of the pie. Okay. Notice it's 2%. That's 2% of the course that I got right by doing that one problem correct. The gray area shows what you're going to learn. The inside, the blue part is what you've already learned. And then, that's it, right? So there's your pie. So if I click on that, oh, there's your kinetics. See, I mastered one. That I got that one equilibrium, right? But I got 2. You could probably guess the other one that I got right, which was the pH one, right? Acids and bases. That's where I calculated, I think, the POH from the pH or something like that. Okay, so and then it tells you how many you've learned. We haven't learned any yet because we haven't gone through the problems. We haven't done any of them. We just did the initial assessment. And then remaining, well, those are the ones that we're going to learn throughout the course. Okay. It's kind of cool. It's a fun game. And then up here, it has some information here, your personal pie. You can click on that to look at what you've done so far. Okay. And then, you know, I already did this, right? I already did that sort of clicking on that one. Okay. And then you can look at your timeline. So this is what you do. I can actually look at your timeline as well and see what you've been doing. I can spy on you a little bit and see what your semester, how it's going in terms of your chemistry. Okay. So you can actually click on your timeline as well and look at the sort of stuff that you've done. Okay. And there we go. So now, a little warning there. I haven't seen that browser not compatible. Okay. So I have to work on that. You know, there's a calendar here. Click on your calendar there. This is going to tell you your due dates for everything. And I've pretty much set it up. You can start working on everything. And you know, you have 6 weeks to do everything. The default is, I think, a week, which is not very helpful. So click up here to a month, and then you can start seeing stuff. So if you look here, the first thing that's due is on the 12th. That's a Thursday at midnight. Chapter 14 is due on the 12th. Chapter 15 is due on the 19th. So 1 week, right? Try to finish anytime you have the opportunity to finish an objective early, do it, because things will come up over the next six weeks. You're going to have times where you're busy and you get sick. You have the opportunity to do stuff, to load it up early, finish stuff fast, and then continue working so that you have built in some leeway there. I have had students do the entire course in like 3 weeks. Okay, now you have 6, but I've had people do it in 3. But it takes discipline and it takes a lot of effort to do that. I'm not suggesting that everybody's going to do that. Okay, but you can potentially. So you see all those, and then you go to the next month. I'm going to click over one more, and then that'll get us into February, right? And you know, obviously we don't have much time, right? The whole thing's got to be done on the 19th. So, you know, that's just the nature of this whole thing. Okay. All right. So there is your calendar. Okay, I'm going to go to learn. So see, I clicked up there. I'm going to go to learn. Now, I want to actually point out a couple things. You have some stuff here. You have an ebook. Boom. Let's click on that ebook. This is part of what you paid for. You paid all that money, $93. You got an ebook. So the Burge textbook that I was talking about in the syllabus, that's right there. It's going to show up here. Well, it's going to show up once it loads here. Okay. So this is the ebook. It's on, you know, it's not the prettiest thing. It's on page 1, which is the inside cover, which has constants and the periodic table and all of that, right? So in the ebook, let's go to chapter 14. This is where you can really read a good textbook. The Burge is a good textbook. We've used it here for a long time, and it has a good mix of rigor, but also with readability. It's not the most difficult thing to read. Okay, it's not, you know, I think it's a little better than the OpenStax free book, but if you can use that as well, it's obviously that's free. Okay, so here's, you know, it's chapter 14. There's each section. It looks like they've changed the kind of layout a little bit. Okay, so you're gonna just go through the reading here, you know, average rate. So here's talking about, this is, like I said, there's a lot of effort put into these textbooks. So that's going to describe, you know, chapter 14. There's section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all that. Okay. So you can go through all that. So there's your textbook. Let's see, I'm going to close the textbook. There we go. And let's just go to see anything else. Like, I don't use the message center on ALEKS. I'm just going to do stuff through Blackboard. I don't have anything on resources. You can always look at your gradebook. Once you start doing some work, you can get some grades in there, you know, and that'll show you how you're doing in the course. Okay, let's see if this loads up. It shouldn't really have anything right there. It just says, hey, the only thing really you've done, first of all, you haven't done chapter 14 yet, so you don't have a grade for that. And then your pi progress, we've got 2%. Okay. And then, you know, you can, you know, it's pretty intuitive. There's your grade book. Okay. And then let's go to learn. Whenever you're confused about what you want to do, just go to learn. And then learn is going to set you up for the first objective, which is in the pipeline. And here's some discussion of learning. There is a progress bar up here, which has 5 little bars. Your goal is to get all 5 of that, and then you've finished a topic and you have learned that topic, and then you go on to the next topic. Okay. There we go. You can use the explanation, doesn't count against you. If you're having a problem with a particular problem, you can do that. So for example, let's look at this first problem. This is the first one that popped up for me. You may get slightly different orders from other students because they may have done more on that initial knowledge check than you have, or less. So you'll get different problems. Okay. So the rate of a certain reaction is given by the following rate law. Rate equals K times NO squared times O2. Use this information to answer the questions before. What is the reaction order in NO? Well, that looks like it's a 2. What is the reaction order in O2? That looks like it's a 1. Okay, what is the overall? Well, you add them together, and it gives you a 3. And then at a certain concentration of NO and NO2, the initial rate is 0.640. What would be the initial rate if you doubled NO? Well, the order for NO is 2. So if you doubled the rate, you would quadruple. I'm sorry, if you doubled the concentration, you would quadruple the rate. So 4 times 0.640. So that would be 2.56. Answer to 3 significant digits. Pay attention to that. 2.56 has 3 significant digits. And then it says here, the rate is measured to be 51 when NO is 0.38 and O2 is 0.82. Calculate the rate constant. What is K? Well, you know, here's K. So K would be the rate, and they tell you the rate is 51.0. Divided by, so if you're solving for K, you would divide by NO squared, and you would divide by O2 to get K all by itself, to isolate K. So 0.38 squared, so divide by 0.38 squared, and then divide by O2 is 0.82. And so it looks like it's about 430.71. So I'm going to round it to 431. Right, because 431 would be, oh, they only want it to 2 significant. Ooh, that's a little tricky. So that's 4.3 times 10 to the 2. So I'm going to hit 4.3 times 10 to the 2. And that would be 430. Check. Let's see if we got it right. The tension builds as you wait. Correct. Okay, correct. It's 213, 2.56, 4.3 times 10 to the 2. Okay. And then you hit next. Now look what happened up here. You got 1 bar. So logic would suggest you got to get it right 5 times, but it turns out you don't. If you get it right once, the next time you get it right, you get 2 more bars. That'd be 3. The next time you get it right, you get 2 more bars. That would be 5, and you'd be done. So you do have to do it 3 times to get it correct, to get credit. But here's the good news. Once you've got that done and you've got the 5 bars done, you've solved that problem and you've got credit for it. And that goes into your pie, and it also goes into the objective. So you now have 1 out of 99 done in the pie, and 1 out of 16 in this particular objective. I think it's 16 for chapter 14. Okay. Now, if you are having problems, you can go to the explanation and you can click on that. And look what they're going to do. They're going to give you the problem there, and then they're going to explain this is how they're doing it. So they give you some little description of what this all is, and then what the numbers are, and then how to do the calculations, and then they give you the answer there. Okay. And then you can go back and say, okay, let's get back into practicing it. Okay. And there you go. All right. So there you go. Now, what I have is a boatload of videos describing how to do these problems. So my suggestion is, as soon as you can, now this video is being posted Monday night, so by the end of Tuesday, you should have done the initial knowledge check, and you should start watching the videos that I have on chapter 14, which describe how to do these problems, okay? And then start working on these problems. So this is self-paced in a sense, meaning you don't have to do these problems Tuesday. You don't have to do these problems Wednesday. You don't have to do these problems Thursday. But guess what? You have to have all 16 done to get full credit, to get 100%. You have to have them all done by next Thursday, which is, I'm sorry, my math is not working real well. I think that's the 13th, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. So I think it's the 12th, by midnight of the 12th. Okay. So, and then we move on. Then we move on to the next. Now, here's the thing. If you can finish them early, if you can finish chapter 14 early, do it. Finish it early and then start working on 15. Okay. Stay ahead of the game on this. Don't fall behind. Okay. Now, if you have a bad week and you can only do 8 out of those 16, okay, you got 8 out of 16, so you get a 50% out on the objective. But that doesn't mean you got a 0, right? You got 8, you still got 50%. So if you can get like 90s and then you had 150 or 60 in there, that'll knock your overall average down, but it won't kill you. Okay. So the only thing that will kill you is if you really just don't do the objective at all. Okay. So pay attention to the videos on YouTube. I'm going to remind you that each chapter has a folder within a playlist within YouTube. So I have a lot of videos. I am going to actually go ahead and make a couple more videos this week for chapter 14, but they're already there, to be honest with you. You know, it's just me doing more examples of these problems. This is all about problem solving. So, you know, whatever you do in life, whatever you do in your career, problem solving will be important. This is a type of problem solving which teaches you methodology for doing that. Okay. So good luck again. I will see you as quickly as I possibly can. Take care.